What's up? Algebra 2. Okay, so lesson 67 is on radical denominators, and which means that we have something in the house in the denominator spot, and that can't happen. So we have got to get rid of it. And with this, because we have two terms in the denominator spot, we have, instead of, in the past, we just multiply by whatever was in the house to the denominator, numerator, it canceled out and it was all good. But because there's actually two terms down there, we're going to have to multiply by the conjugate of the equation that is down there, or the expression. So we are going to multiply. When I say conjugate, I mean that we are going to change this sign in the middle, okay? So if it is positive, it's going to be negative, negative is positive. But just like we do with something that is in the house, in the denominator spot, whatever we do to the denominator, we have to do to the numerator as well. And so we're going to multiply both of those by the conjugate. And then so here, we're going to treat that just like we do FOIL, and then up here like distributive property. And so for the top, we'll do distributive property, and so we'll have -4 minus 3 in the house, because we're just multiplying 1 to both of them. And then on the bottom, we multiply our first, like we do in FOIL, positive 16, our outer, which is going to give us a +4 with 3 in the house, our inner, which is -4 with 3 in the house, and then the outside, we have got a 9. Okay, so what we want to see here is those two middle terms being the same thing with different signs, because we want them to cancel out. That's the whole point of us multiplying by the conjugate. So we want those to be able to cross out. So +4 with 3 in the house, -4 with 3 in the house, add it together is 0, it's done, it cancels out, and that's what we want. On the bottom here, we know that the square root of 9 is 3, and so that means that 3 is going to come out of the house. And so on this bottom part, we'll have 16 minus 3. And then on the top, we still have this for the time being. Okay, and then 16 minus 3 is 13. So 4 over 13 is a fraction. You can't reduce it. So at this point, there's nothing else you can do. And so that would be your answer. All right, so let's look at the second one again. We've got to multiply by the opposite. So we're going to have a negative sign. And you're only changing these middle signs here when you do that. Okay. All right, so then we're going to do FOIL on the bottom, do distributive property on the top. So 3 times 2 is 6 with 3 in the house. And then 3 times -1, because there's always a -1 there, with 2 in the house. Then the bottom, we do our first, which is 4. We have 9 in the house there. The outside, -2 with 6 in the house. The inside, +2 with 6 in the house. And then the outer is 4. Then we can kind of go through and simplify again. This is what we want. We want -2 with 6 in the house, +2 with 6 in the house. So when you add together, it's 0. And so it's done. That's the whole point. Then here, we know that 3 comes out because, it has the perfect square root. 3 comes out and is multiplied to 4. Actually, let me do that. And then that's going to give us 12. This canceled out, and then this has the perfect square root of 2. And then, okay, here, there's really nothing that can be done on that. And then we have 10 right there. And so as far as 6, 3, and 10, the outside numbers, there's nothing that can go into all 3 of those numbers. And so there's no way that we can reduce any fractions there. And these have different things in the house. And so they're not what we consider like terms either. And so there's nothing further that we could do with that. And so that would be your answer. Go ahead and do practice A and B. And I want to see these notes that you've wrote down from these examples. I want to see your 2 practice problems, and when you get done, just send me a picture of that. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.